Well, hello everyone. La Liga is back, or it's coming back, depending on when this video gets published, because my publishing schedule is a bit congested, but who cares, right? This is not a video to preview or predict Adrian's publishing schedule on YouTube, though feel free to comment below if you want, which has been hectic lately. Instead, we're going to look at La Liga, which has been hectic as well, at least when it comes to Barcelona's window. But we'll start with the teams that I think could be dropping. That's right, we're getting straight into it. I'll keep this short and sweet. Mallorca and Cadiz just escaped by the skin of their teeth last season, and I'm not so sure that Mallorca will be able to do so once again. For me, Mallorca is heading back down to the Segunda after a nice vacation in the top flight, and I think they will be joined by newly promoted side, Real Valladolid. The other team to join them, for me it was between Cadiz and Girona, but I like some of the signings that Girona have made this summer, such as Tati Castellanos, Yangel Herrera, and Miguel Gutierrez, and with Stuani, a proven scorer, I think they'll just survive. Almeria, the champions of the Segunda last season, they'll survive, in my opinion as well, meaning I have Mallorca, Valladolid, and Elche. Elche and Cadiz was a toss-up for me, but I'm going with Elche. They provide some strange results throughout the season, and they could surprise me, we'll see, but for now, I have them dropping with Valladolid and Mallorca. Valencia have recently sold Gonzalo Guedes, and they are a club that is in a never-ending cycle of turmoil under owner Peter Lim. Gattuso is in charge now, and I actually don't mind him as a manager, but as we have seen with plenty of other clubs, a manager can only take a team so far, so long as the people working above them aren't really interested in truly competing with the best in the league, which continuously seems to be the case at Valencia, unfortunately. Going back to that sale of Guedes, he has been integral to their attack in recent seasons, and I just don't know that Samu Castillejo, Samuel Lino, and Hugo Duro will be able to make up for that. That said, Lino, who played in Portugal previously, is quite the talent, so watch out for him. We'll see, maybe they'll surprise us, but I don't see Valencia cracking that top 7. Celta Vigo, another team that can go in either direction when it comes to cracking the top 7 for me, but it often feels like it's the brilliant Iago Aspas versus the world when it comes to Celta. And while he will have some help from Carlos Perez, and they have added Marchesin in goal, which could be a big upgrade, I think they will still be sitting pretty in 8th through 10th alongside Valencia. Athletic Club is another one that was a pretty wishy-washy season oftentimes. They look good in a few big matches, getting some statement results, and then they flatter to deceive in others. However, with Ernesto Valverde taking over from Marcelino, they're absolutely a team I will be keeping an eye on. Their transfer activity, of course, I mean, they're at the mercy of their own club policy and often see more departures than they do arrivals. They're a bit of a wild card for me in the standings, but I see them in that 8th to 10th range as well, alongside Celta and Valencia. Here's one that may surprise you guys. I think that Sevilla are going to really struggle this season, and this is mostly based just on how things stand with them at the moment, at least in defense. That can change still, right? But they lost two massive parts of their back line, Jules Koundé and Diego Carlos. That partnership was integral to their defense in recent seasons, and with them leaving to Barcelona and Aston Villa respectively, they have brought in Marcão to help with the center back duties, and you would expect the man who was playing Galatasaray last season to be a starter. They also brought in Alex Telles on loan from United. If he finds his Porto form, then that will be a good signing. And my favorite signing, of course, Isco. Again, if he finds his old form, he will be a killer in this team. But they also have issues in the center forward position. We'll see if Youssef En-Nesyri can pick up from where he was a while ago. Real Sociedad made an interesting signing in bringing in Takefusa Kubo, as he finally got a permanent transfer away from Real Madrid, and I am very much looking forward to seeing how things pan out at a side like Real Sociedad, playing under an underrated manager in Imanol Alguacil, and playing with, I mean, no offense, but more technically gifted players to combine with than he had at Mallorca. There are questions surrounding the future of Alexander Isak at the club, with clubs like Newcastle circling around, but I believe that Real Sociedad will be strong once again. Villarreal. Unai Emery is an absolute don when it comes to knockout tournaments, but his league form has fallen by the wayside time and time again while at Villarreal. No! They finished in 7th last season. They've had a very quiet window, but there are talks of Gio Lo Celso returning to them, which would be a massive boost, while Yeremy Pino has been linked away. Regardless, I would love to see a strong league campaign from Villarreal this season, but I feel as though they will only manage 7th Once again, a repeat. I have Sevilla falling out of the top 4 all the way to 6th, which could be controversial, but I just fear for their defense, which is so integral to their success as it was last season. That means I have La Real moving back up to 5th as they managed 2 seasons ago. So with my prediction of Sevilla falling out of the top 4, that means that I have their city rivals Real Betis occupying 4th place. Pellegrini's side were fantastic last season, of course, winning the Copa del Rey and making it all the way up to 5th, just 5 points behind Sevilla, while keeping all of their important pieces, bar Hector Bellerin, whom they are working hard to bring back. They've also signed Brazilian winger Luis Henrique to bolster their attack, and there are some rumors linking Houssam Aouar with a move to Real Betis to be reunited with Nabil Fekir. That would be tasty, but we'll see what happens. There's a long way to go there. Regardless, Pellegrini pulled some monster performances out of guys like William Carvalho last season in the midfield, so that still looks to be in good hands, and perhaps my only worry for them would be in defense, but even then, they weren't exactly struggling in that area. I think they'll move from strength to strength this season, and man, wouldn't it be nice to see those green kits in the Champions League again. Ugh. Betis consistently have some of my favorite kits. In third, you guessed it, Atletico Madrid. Now, I find Atletico Madrid to be one of the most frustrating, difficult teams to make a prediction for. When you think they'll be good, they stink up the place. When you think they'll get clapped, they get a 3-2 victory or something somehow. Last season, they were still good defensively, despite an incredibly off-character start to the season from Jan Oblak, in which most of his analytics pointed towards not just a swing toward the mean, but below average performances when compared to other keepers in the top 5 leagues. For a guy who has been superhuman for the majority of his Atletico career, that was certainly a shocker. But I can't foresee that happening again. And while Atletico have had a couple issues financially as well this summer, which has limited their window, I am hoping for a really strong challenge this year. I'm also hoping for an injury-free campaign for João Felix for obvious reasons. But that's a lot to ask for. At the very least, I hope he has some long stretches where he is healthy and can find some form and really arrive at Atletico. He's looked sharp in preseason from the bits and pieces I've seen of Atletico. Such as their demolition of Juve. Speaking of their market moves, they have brought in Axel Witsel, who is also injury prone, but we hope for the best for him. And Saul returns from Chelsea. Griezmann has finally been registered. Morata is back. Nahuel Molina joins from Udinese to bolster their right back options. Hey, look, they're looking good. Atleti is a difficult one to call, as I mentioned earlier, because if all goes well, the defense continues to perform, Oblak plays to his best, the midfield looks improved, and the attack is firing, they absolutely have a stunning squad. But they tend to let me down just a little bit too often, so I have them in third. And here's the fun part, of course. What I can say here is that even though it hasn't been forever, it feels like it has been a while since we've had a truly strong Real Madrid versus what looks like a truly strong Barcelona. Not one managed by Koeman and boasting weirdos in the back line. There are still questions over registration and all of that, I know, but for the sake of this preview, we have to assume that they are going to let it rip on that 4th lever and get everyone registered. If they do that, then you cannot say that Barcelona haven't backed Xavi. What we saw from Xavi last season was mixed at times, though there were plenty of moments that showed a lot of promise. That half season or 2/3 or whatever it was, while I say it was mixed, Xavi still managed to take Barcelona all the way from 9th to 2nd in the league, and that is pretty damn impressive. And now he has a wealth of options at his disposal. An improved defense with Koundé and Christensen arriving, an improved midfield with Kessié, and Lewandowski and Rafinha bolster their attack. Not to mention one of their more important signings in renewing Dembele. What a ride 2022 has been for Dembele in Barcelona. I know I drank the Kool-Aid from the club. It was Kool-Aid that the club was providing when they said they wanted him gone. Then they flip-flopped, but they'll be glad that they did. If he stays healthy, he'll absolutely torch teams in La Liga, and his numbers could be scary. Conversely, Real Madrid was quiet as they chose to get rid of some of the players that weren't, playing, such as Isco and Bale leaving, Marcelo leaving as well, Luka Jovic off to Fiorentina, and then a few others that aren't as high profile. As far as additions, however, they gave themselves another option at center back in Antonio Rudiger, while also bringing in yet another player who looks like the future of the French national team, Aurélien Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni and Camavinga in the midfield, that seems like they've sorted out that position for years to come. And if they build up some chemistry for France, With this Real Madrid side, they have taken a League and Champions League winning team and made small additions here and there, a bit more competition, a bit more quality, but perhaps the area where they could still use a signing is that striker position. Karim Benzema is incredible and is absolutely a lock. I mean, he's the most complete and best striker in the world right now for my money, and I look forward to his battle with Lewandowski. But with Jovic leaving, not that he was a good option for him anyway, but if Benzema gets injured, you're playing someone out of position or playing Mariano. And yes, Mariano is still at Real Madrid. Speaking of, I almost forgot that Eden Hazard is still at Real Madrid. The guy didn't even play in the Super Cup. I mean, what is going on there? That said, I think that it's maybe one season too soon for Barcelona to knock Real Madrid off the top spot, which is where I have them. We'll see though. They will absolutely be challenged far more this season by Barcelona. Last season, they had a pretty easy run with Barca and Atleti failing, but that won't happen this season, I don't think. There are a few things that give me a bit of pause with this prediction though, which I stand by, of course, but I think they are absolutely worth sharing. When you make predictions, for the most part, you are assuming that everything will go right. You know, no crazy injuries or whatever, or at least more things will go right than wrong, you know? But these next points are where Real Madrid could suffer. 1, in the last 32 years, Real Madrid have only managed to defend their title once, which is pretty wild. 2, Real Madrid's reliance on Karim Benzema is quite worrying, as the difference between Real with Benzema and without Benzema was quite pronounced last season. Who knows? Perhaps that will change this season, but with the compressed schedule, you know, a World Cup in November, December, and Benzema actually turning 35 during the World Cup, I mean, he's stayed relatively healthy in recent years, but like we always say, you just never know whether a player will start to go down the Zlatan route as they age or the Modric and Cristiano Ronaldo route, the further they get into their 30s. And 3, and this is arguably the biggest wild card, what happens with Barcelona, the registration of players, which to be fair is looking like it will all get sorted out, and how they will all work and gel under Xavi. There were times last season where they looked brilliant under Xavi, and times during preseason as well. Granted, there's always very little you can actually take away from preseason, right? So with all of the pressure being heaped on them to succeed thanks to how they have approached their finances, basically hedging their bets on building a team that will generate enough income in order to eventually put these financial levers in the past, honestly, I think everyone in the world would be happy to hear about financial levers never again, especially the Barca fans, but all of us are included here. So how will Xavi react to this pressure? How will the team react to it? Will they gel immediately? Then there's the registration question. I mean, it all makes Barcelona a bit unpredictable, a good wild card, and some welcomed anarchy in the title race potentially. As a neutral, we love a bit of anarchy. I think it will be between Barca and Real Madrid still, with Real taking it, but hopefully Atletico aren't the same Atletico from the 21-22 season, and this predicted two-horse race becomes hell yeah. That was like a cartoonish sneeze. That was bizarre, but anyway. Hopefully, this two-horse race that I'm predicting actually is a three-horse race. I'm sorry, but I don't trust anyone else to challenge the big three right now. But what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm clueless? Whatever. Be sure to let me know in the comments, whatever it is that you think. Beyond that, I thank you for watching. I'm Adrian, and please enjoy this La Liga season. Ciao.